So I'm here at Clifton College in Bristol to speak to a remarkable young man, James. James unfortunately didn't have the brightest start into life, but through rugby certainly has been able to find himself and now is one of the students here at this amazing school. Across this series we're going to be speaking to all different kinds of people and understanding and discovering their roots into rugby. So James, your route into rugby is perhaps slightly less traditional than what we're used to hearing about. Let's start with your childhood. What was it like growing up in your household?
Well, I started with an abusive household. Things just weren't really going too well. Didn't really care about school too much. Didn't really get along with school. Didn't get along with rugby. There was a point where I wanted to quit rugby. Didn't really find the fun in it. But my coach was sort of like messaging my mum. And then it got to a certain point where he was messaging my mum. He was like, "Do you want me to drive down and I'll come pick him up from the house if you want?" Which sort of like scared me out of bed because I was like, will he actually come down? If I was with another club and they didn't have a coach that was like that, I would have quit in a long time ago. Yeah. And I wouldn't have been involved with stuff like this school and just with Bears Academy and stuff like that. So, do
you think that they felt as if rugby was perhaps a safe haven away from maybe some of the other issues that you had in your life?
I think at the end of the day, they were just sort of trying to get me out, trying to get me with people sort of my own age, just get me out, have a bit of fun. I mean, because on the pitch, it wasn't too serious at the time. Yeah. Sort of run around, have a bit of a laugh, and then, yeah, it's fun. So
home life disruptive, perhaps not the happiest of memories for you, and then you briefly touched upon school. You didn't love school, did you?
Got expelled from my first school in year 7. It was mainly because of like attendance, just not getting along with just stuff, not bringing in work, fighting, just everything. It was just I wasn't really behaving, and they didn't really see the time of the day for me, so they just sort of kicked me out. But I went to a behaviour school for about 2 years and I really enjoyed it, and I think that sort of threw me, and it just sort of was like, I don't really need to misbehave, everyone's sort of getting along, it's just found it more fun.
And was rugby still a constant during your time at behavioural school?
I think because I started to do a bit better in school, I started to do a bit better in rugby because I just started enjoying stuff in general more. Because that was when I started to be selected for more games and like getting more game time. I think I was just happier in general. It's sort of been that middle block that's like, if I wasn't enjoying school or something like that, I could go out, and then it's sort of like something I can just focus on, take my mind off of everything I'm doing at the moment, just sort of get in rugby and sort of do that.
How did this come about?
My mum was like, "You can go do this trial thing down at Clifton." So I was like, I'll give it a shot, I might as well. I never really thought like it'd be a thing. I thought it was more of like a joke, sort of like, I didn't take it seriously. But came down, gave it a go, really enjoyed it actually. I sort of came along and I was like, this place is mad compared to what I've like seen before. But I don't think it's quite hit me at the start. I think I just sort of came and it was so like not natural for what I'm used to. I think it just flew straight over my head. It was just like, this wouldn't ever happen. It's just something that's out of my reach.
To go to school like this is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
To your average person. How did your family, how did your mother, how was she able to navigate that situation?
I think there was a lot of conversation about what we could afford and what we couldn't afford. But yeah, we weren't able to obviously fund a lot of it because coming here would have been way out of our reach. I think they were able to be very generous with a lot of the stuff that I've managed to get, and which I'm really thankful for. Having
a scholarship and having an opportunity like this can change someone's life. People's generosity and schemes like that effectively impacted and changed my life, and I hope it has the same impact on you, as has the STAR scheme.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
From the start they've been encouraging and helping. My coaches encouraged me to come to training. I think it was last summer they took me to France, and the whole thing was paid for and stuff, and I did a charity cycle on part of the Tour de France.
So that cycle ride was more than just cycling, wasn't it? Because from everything that I hear, you cycled further than any young person cycled before, 118 kilometres through the Pyrenees, quite steep, so it must have been a challenge on your legs. But in terms of the best illustration of the growth within you, was you then delivering a speech to so many people about your experiences. Have you been able to reflect on the person that you're becoming, as well as everything that you achieved, not just in the saddle?
3 years ago, if someone told me to do this, I would have point blank turned them down. Like I didn't have the self-confidence for that. Like on each of the food stops I was at, I was able to just have a little nice chat with someone. I'm able to talk to so many different people and get to know them that it's become a lot easier for me to do. With rugby and with like the scholarship and stuff like that, I believe that it's like really helped me outside to like be able to talk to people, my self-confidence, and just how I just do stuff on a daily basis.
Taking the opportunity, you're at an amazing school, got a scholarship, everything's going really well, and rugby's getting even better because you're now a part of the Bristol Bears Academy as well, isn't that right?
I've been like sort of with it since I was in Backwell, and that was when I joined back from my behaviour school, so that was when everything started to get a bit better. And that's when I started to get a bit more game time. That's when I started to enjoy the sport more. It didn't really feel like it was like an academy. It just felt more like a club, like I was enjoying it when I was there. And I think because I was enjoying it, it sort of went through quickly, and I'm just now where I am now.
So True Valley, your local rugby club, tell us about the relationship that you have there.
I mean, it started rough, but I mean, with the help of my coach, Mark Anderson, he sort of kept me in with it. I got involved with a lot more sort of stations down at the club, like working and stuff, volunteering. I've coached my brother's group, that like their forward pack and stuff. So that was more of like a thing because I enjoyed the sport. So I was like, I want to get more experience with, like, if you're teaching something, you're going to be picking up points yourself, like you're reiterating stuff. And then there's stuff like the work and stuff I do down there. I do it most weekends when there's matches, keep involved with as much as I can with it.
And then you're going to make the step into adult rugby as well. How much are you looking forward to that? What are the challenges? What are you most excited about?
I feel like the transition with stuff like the Bears and stuff, they help you sort of go from child rugby to adult rugby. I think it's a nice sort of like gradual system to bring you up and make you ready for it and prepare you. So I feel like in about now to a year's time, I feel confident to sort of take that step.
So what are the ambitions for the future?
Definitely planning to continue with what I'm doing, going down, getting better at rugby. If it doesn't continue, I think I'd probably go on and then do something in a university or something, continue with rugby, but I probably would just keep up with club and just try to get involved with as much rugby as I can.
And what difference do you think rugby's made to your life?
A massive difference. If I didn't have rugby, I don't know where I would sort of be. I think I wouldn't be too happy. I feel like I'd just not have that sort of activity to keep me busy, to keep my mind off things and stuff like that. And I think that's also helped with me making a lot of my friends, because when I joined Backwell, a lot of the people that I was mates with at first were from the rugby team, so I think that was able to sort of get me out doing something.
The one thing that rugby does do is it tries to graduate everything, to make people feel comfortable and go at their own pace. I think you'll be absolutely fine. You've gone from a bloke that didn't want to have a conversation, didn't want to be at school, found the coaches within rugby annoying, probably still do actually, to getting on a plane, cycling 118 kilometres, I think you'll be just fine in your transition. I wish you all the very best of luck.
Thank you.